Did you know Elvis Presley once bought over a dozen Cadillacs in a single afternoon and gave almost all of them away on the spot? Or that a casual compliment about his car could lead to you owning one just hours later? And imagine being handed the keys to a luxury vehicle simply because the king thought you looked like you needed one. These aren't myths, they were real moments, fueled by the impulsive, staggering generosity of one of the biggest stars the world has ever known. Elvis didn't just buy cars for himself, he bought them like candy and handed them out to friends, family, entourage members, and sometimes people he'd never met before that very day. Number 7. The Denver police captain who got a surprise caddy. Picture this. It's January 1976. Elvis Presley is in Denver, Colorado, not just for concerts, but also indulging his fascination with law enforcement. He famously collected police badges and sometimes blurred the lines between celebrity and honorary officer. During this trip, he struck up a friendship with several members of the Denver Police Department, including Captain Jerry Kennedy. Elvis appreciated the security and camaraderie the officers provided. He spent time with them, learning about their work and expressing his admiration. Captain Kennedy in particular seemed to make a positive impression on the king. Elvis, never one for small gestures, decided a simple thank you wasn't enough. So, what did Elvis do? He did what Elvis often did when he wanted to show appreciation. He bought a car. Not just any car, but a brand new top-of-the-line 1976 Cadillac Seville. This wasn't a planned gift. It was a spontaneous act of immense generosity. He arranged for the luxurious vehicle, likely a metallic color fitting the era's style, complete with plush interiors and all the latest features, to be presented to Captain Kennedy. Imagine Captain Kennedy's reaction. You're a police captain, doing your job, interacting with a global superstar who happens to be in town. You treat him with professional courtesy, maybe share a few stories, and suddenly you're being handed the keys to one of the most expensive and prestigious American cars available. The shock must have been immense. The Cadillac Seville was a significant car for GM at the time. Introduced in 1975 as a 1976 model, it was Cadillac's answer to the growing popularity of smaller, more efficient European luxury sedans like Mercedes-Benz. It was still undeniably a Cadillac, luxurious, comfortable, and packed with technology, but in a slightly more manageable size than the massive Fleetwoods and Eldorados. It featured fuel injection, advanced for the time, automatic climate control, power, everything, and elegant styling. Its price tag was considerable, placing it firmly in the upper echelon of automobiles. For Elvis to casually gift such a vehicle spoke volumes about his impulsive generosity and his disregard for the monetary value when expressing gratitude. This gift wasn't just about the car, it was a symbol of Elvis's connection, however brief, with the Denver Police Department and his respect for Captain Kennedy. It became another legendary story whispered among fans and law enforcement circles alike. The time Elvis Presley gave a Denver cop a Cadillac just because. This act cemented his reputation not just as a rock and roll icon, but as a man capable of extraordinary, almost unbelievable acts of kindness toward those who crossed his path, even if they were simply doing their jobs. The car itself, a gleaming symbol of 1970s luxury, served as a tangible reminder of a surreal encounter with the king of rock and roll. Number 6. The dealership stranger who admired a limo. Memphis, Tennessee, was Elvis's kingdom and local businesses, especially car dealerships, knew him well. He was a frequent customer, often buying multiple vehicles at once. One particular story occurring around the mid-1970s perfectly illustrates his spontaneous generosity triggered by a simple, admiring comment. Elvis was at or near a Memphis dealership. Some accounts place him at his preferred spot, Madison Cadillac. He had either just purchased or was looking at a new Cadillac limousine. These weren't just cars. They were rolling statements of status, immensely long, opulent, and designed for chauffeuring the wealthy and famous. They featured divider windows, plush upholstery, often in velour or leather, rear climate controls, and sometimes even small televisions or bars. Owning one was the pinnacle of automotive luxury in America. As Elvis was basking in the presence of this automotive giant, a woman, a complete stranger, happened to be nearby. Perhaps she was a customer. Perhaps just passing by. She saw the magnificent limousine and, understandably impressed, made a comment directly to Elvis, something along the lines of, "That's the most beautiful car I've ever seen." For most people, such a comment would elicit a polite thank you or a nod. For Elvis Presley, it sparked an idea. He reportedly looked at the woman, saw her genuine admiration, and decided right then and there that she should have it. Accounts suggest he immediately initiated the process to give the car to her. Whether he paid for it on the spot and handed her the keys or arranged the paperwork with the dealership staff, who were likely accustomed to his unpredictable largesse, the result was the same. A woman who had, moments before, merely expressed appreciation for a luxury car found herself the stunned owner of that very vehicle. Think about the sheer value. A new Cadillac limousine in the mid-1970s cost a fortune, equivalent to a substantial portion of a house price at the time. It was a vehicle far beyond the reach of the average person. Handing one over to a stranger based on an offhand compliment is an act that borders on the surreal. This incident highlights several facets of Elvis's personality. His love for cars, especially Cadillacs, was well known. His immense wealth allowed him to indulge such whims without a second thought. But more importantly, it shows his desire to share his good fortune and create moments of joy and disbelief for others. He seemed to derive genuine pleasure from seeing the shock and happiness on people's faces when they received these incredible gifts. The woman's identity is often lost in the retelling, making her an every-woman figure in the Elvis mythology, someone plucked from obscurity for a moment of unbelievable luck. The story endures because it's so relatable on one level. Who hasn't admired a beautiful car? And so utterly fantastic on another, imagine actually being given that car. It's a testament to a time when Elvis's generosity knew no bounds, and a simple compliment could literally change someone's life, or at least their mode of transportation, in the blink of an eye. The gleaming chrome and imposing presence of that Cadillac limousine became, for one anonymous woman, a symbol of a chance encounter with the king. Number 5. Minnie Lel Person, the bank teller, who got her dream car. This is one of the most frequently cited and well-documented instances of Elvis gifting a car to a stranger, and it happened right in his hometown of Memphis. The lucky recipient was Minnie Lel Person, a teller at a local Whitehaven bank that Elvis often visited. The year was 1975. Elvis Presley, despite his global fame, still handled some personal errands in Memphis, including visiting his bank. On this particular day, he came into the branch where Minnie Person worked. She was known for being professional and courteous, treating the superstar like any other customer. During their interaction, perhaps while processing a check or a deposit, many made a casual remark admiring the Cadillac Elvis was driving that day. It might have been parked right outside the bank's window. Accounts vary on the exact words, but the sentiment was clear. She thought his car was beautiful. It's often reported she specifically admired its color or style. Cadillacs were Elvis's signature vehicle, and in 1975, models like the Eldorado convertible or the Fleetwood Brougham were the epitome of American luxury. Elvis completed his banking business and left. But many's comment stuck with him. Most people would have forgotten the remark by the time they reached their car. Elvis, however, decided to act on it. Shortly after leaving the bank, he reportedly called the branch manager and asked him to put Minnie Person on the phone. Imagine being Minnie. You've just served Elvis Presley, maybe feeling a little starstruck, but keeping it professional. Then the phone rings, and it's the king himself calling back for you. What could he possibly want? Elvis's message was simple and staggering. He told Minnie to meet him at Madison Cadillac, the dealership he favored. He didn't just offer her the car she had admired. He essentially gave her the dealership experience. When she arrived, likely bewildered and overwhelmed, Elvis was there. He didn't just give her a car, he reportedly told her to pick out any Cadillac she wanted. She chose a brand new Cadillac, often described as being gold or copper-colored, possibly an Eldorado, a model known for its flamboyant style and luxurious features. Elvis paid for it in full, right then and there. Minnie Person, who had simply made an innocent, admiring comment about a car while doing her job, drove away from the dealership in her very own brand new Cadillac, a gift from the king of rock and roll. The cost of a new Cadillac Eldorado in 1975 was well over $10,000, a huge sum at the time, equivalent to perhaps $50,000 or more in today's money, and significantly more than an average annual salary. For a bank teller, this was an unimaginable windfall. This story is powerful because Minnie Person wasn't part of Elvis's inner circle. She wasn't a celebrity or a family member. She was an ordinary working person who showed him a moment of simple human appreciation. Elvis's response was extraordinarily generous, turning a mundane workday into a life-altering event. It became a cherished piece of Memphis lore, often recounted to illustrate the sheer scale and spontaneity of Elvis's generosity. Minnie Person kept the car for many years, a tangible reminder of the day. Her compliment caught the attention of the king, and he decided to make her dream car a reality. Number 4. The woman who just looked like she needed wheels. Elvis Presley's car gifting wasn't always triggered by a specific comment or a direct interaction. Sometimes, it seemed to stem purely from his observation and empathy, however fleeting. One such story involves Elvis spotting a woman at a dealership who simply looked like she could use a helping hand, or in this case, a new set of wheels. The setting once again is likely a Memphis Cadillac dealership, a place Elvis frequented almost like a second home. He was there, perhaps browsing the latest models for himself, or planning another multi-car purchase for his entourage. Dealerships then as now had waiting areas and showrooms where people might be looking, waiting for service, or perhaps struggling with the financing process. According to the story, Elvis noticed a woman inside the dealership. She wasn't interacting with him, She was just there. Something about her demeanor caught his eye. Maybe she looked worried, stressed, or simply overwhelmed. Perhaps she was looking longingly at the cars, knowing they were beyond her reach. Elvis, who came from very humble beginnings himself, never fully lost his connection to the struggles of ordinary people, despite his immense fame and fortune. He observed her for a moment. Then, acting on pure impulse and his own interpretation of her situation, he approached her. Imagine the surprise of this woman, likely preoccupied with her own thoughts or concerns, suddenly being addressed by Elvis Presley. He reportedly asked her what kind of car she was looking for or what trouble she was having. Her specific circumstances are usually not detailed in the retellings, but the implication is often that she was facing financial difficulties or couldn't afford the car she needed or wanted. Elvis didn't need a long sob story. He saw a perceived need and decided to fill it. He told the woman not to worry. He then instructed the dealership staff to help her pick out a car, a brand new Cadillac. He assured her, and the dealership, that he would cover the entire cost. Just like that, a woman who walked into a dealership potentially facing disappointment or financial strain walked out owning one of the most luxurious cars available, thanks to the unexpected empathetic gesture of a global superstar. She wasn't a fan who had chased him down, nor someone who had done him a service. She was simply in the right place at the right time, and her appearance struck a chord with Elvis's deep-seated generosity. This incident is particularly touching because it suggests Elvis's giving wasn't just about grand gestures for show. It sometimes came from a place of perceived empathy, a desire to alleviate someone's troubles, even a stranger's. He saw someone who looked like they were struggling, and his immediate reaction was to provide an extravagant solution. The car itself, likely a Devil or perhaps even an Eldorado depending on what she chose, represented not just transportation but financial relief and a touch of unimaginable luxury. It was a powerful symbol of how Elvis could change someone's world in an instant, based on nothing more than a look and a generous impulse. This story figures the almost mythic quality of his generosity, unpredictable, overwhelming, and capable of landing on anyone, anywhere, at any time. Number 3. Giving away his own personal Pantera. While Cadillacs were Elvis's go-to gift car, his generosity wasn't limited to American luxury barges. He also had a taste for exotic European sports cars, including a stunning yellow Di Tommaso Pantera he acquired in 1974. And yes, he even gave this one away, though the recipient wasn't exactly a complete stranger, but rather someone whose connection was primarily through the car itself. The Di Tommaso Pantera was an Italian sports car with an American heart, a sleek mid-engine design by Ghia, powered by a Ford V8 engine. It looked like a Ferrari or Lamborghini rival, but was somewhat more accessible. Elvis bought his yellow Pantera, reportedly, for his girlfriend, Linda Thompson. However, the car gained notoriety for Elvis's occasional frustration with it. Legend has it that when the car wouldn't start one day, Elvis, in a fit of pique, actually shot it. Bullet holes were allegedly found later in the steering wheel and floor pan. Despite these temperamental moments, both the car's and possibly Elvis's, the Pantera was undeniably a head-turner, a symbol of flashy 1970s style. Its bright yellow paint job made it even more conspicuous. The story of the giveaway is less documented than the Cadillac tales, but fits the pattern. Accounts suggest that Elvis decided to part ways with the Pantera. Instead of trading it in or selling it conventionally, he gifted it. The recipient is sometimes identified as a friend or associate, but other versions connect the gift to someone who had worked on the car or expressed intense admiration for it, perhaps a mechanic or someone at the dealership where it was serviced. Given Elvis's history, it's plausible he gave it to someone outside his immediate circle who had a connection through the vehicle itself. Imagine being that person. You work on or admire this exotic yellow sports car owned by Elvis Presley, maybe even hearing the stories about its temperamental nature or the alleged shooting incident. Then one day you find out Elvis is giving it to you. Even with its potential quirks, receiving a Di Tommaso Pantera from Elvis would be an incredible event. This gift stands out because it wasn't a Cadillac, his usual token of generosity. The Pantera represented a different kind of automotive statement: sporty, European, aggressive. Gifting this specific car showed that Elvis's generosity extended across his diverse automotive interests. It wasn't just about luxury and comfort. It could also be about style, speed, and exotic appeal. Furthermore, giving away a car that he had a personal, albeit sometimes frustrating history with adds another layer. It wasn't just an anonymous vehicle off a lot. It was his yellow Pantera, the one with the stories attached. The value wasn't just monetary. It was imbued with the provenance of having belonged to and been driven, and perhaps shot at, by the king himself. While the recipient might not have been a complete stranger encountered on the street, gifting such a unique and personal vehicle to someone not in his innermost circle still highlights the unpredictable and grand scale of his giving. It reinforces the idea that proximity to Elvis, combined with the right circumstances, like appreciating or working on one of his prized possessions, could lead to astonishing acts of generosity. The yellow Pantera roared away, becoming another mobile testament to the legend of Elvis Presley's impulsive kindness. Number 2. The multi-car giveaway spree at the dealership. This isn't about a single car gifted to one stranger. It's about a legendary episode where Elvis turned a Cadillac dealership into his personal charitable foundation for an afternoon, handing out keys to multiple people, including strangers who just happened to be there. This event, or variations of it, reportedly happened more than once, but one famous instance occurred in Memphis in 1975. Elvis rolled into Madison Cadillac, his preferred dealership. He wasn't just there to buy one car for himself. He was in a giving mood, a big one. He decided he wanted to buy Cadillacs plural for several people. His entourage members were often recipients, but this time the generosity spilled over. He started picking out cars, top-of-the-line models, likely Eldorados and Fleetwoods. Dealership staff scrambled to keep up as the king pointed and purchased. The total number varies in tellings, sometimes cited as high as 14 Cadillacs in one go, though other accounts are more conservative. The exact number isn't the point. The scale of the purchase was staggering. But here's where it gets truly remarkable. After designating cars for his friends and employees, Elvis still felt generous. He noticed other people in the dealership, regular customers, browsers, perhaps even staff members who weren't directly serving him. One specific story often attached to these sprees involves Elvis spotting a woman, a stranger, simply looking at a Cadillac. Similar to the story of the woman admiring the limo, Elvis engaged her. He reportedly asked her if she liked the car she was looking at. When she said yes, Perhaps assuming it was just a casual chat, Elvis turned to the dealership manager and said, "Give it to her." He instructed them to write up the paperwork and put the car in her name, completely free of charge. Imagine the scene. The dealership buzzing with the excitement of Elvis Presley's presence, multiple new Cadillacs being processed for his entourage, and then, out of the blue, a random customer is suddenly gifted one of the most expensive cars on the lot. The shockwaves must have rippled through the showroom. This wasn't necessarily an isolated incident within that single spree. Some accounts suggest he gifted cars to more than one bystander during these massive buying events. He saw someone admiring a car, felt an impulse, and made it happen. The criteria seemed simple: being in the right place at the right time and catching Elvis's eye while he was in a generous mood. These multi-car geckos became legendary in Memphis. They demonstrated Elvis's wealth and impulsiveness on an almost unbelievable scale. Buying one luxury car as a gift is generous. Buying over a dozen and including strangers in the giveaway is an act that transcends normal gift-giving. It borders on performance, art fueled by genuine, albeit extravagant, kindness. The cost of such a spree in the mid-1970s would have been astronomical, easily over $100,000, which was an enormous sum back then, capable of buying several houses. For Elvis, it seemed less about the money and more about the act itself. The joy of giving and perhaps the sheer power of being able to do something so extraordinary on a whim. These events cemented Elvis's reputation in Memphis, not just as a star, but as a local figure capable of mythic acts of generosity. People knew that an encounter with Elvis, especially near a car dealership, could potentially lead to a life-changing surprise. The gleaming Cadillacs driving around Memphis, owned by people from all walks of life, were rolling proof of the king's unparalleled and unpredictable generosity. Number 1. Dr. Elias Ganem's unexpected Lincoln. While Elvis Presley is famously associated with gifting Cadillacs, his generosity wasn't exclusive to that brand. He also gave away other luxury vehicles, including Lincolns. One of the most notable recipients of a non-Cadillac gift, who arguably started as a professional acquaintance rather than a complete stranger, but received the gift out of the blue, was Dr. Elias Ganem, one of Elvis's Las Vegas doctors. Dr. Ganem was part of the medical team that looked after Elvis during his demanding Las Vegas residencies at the International Hotel, later the Las Vegas Hilton. Elvis relied on doctors like Ganem to keep him healthy enough to perform his grueling schedule. A professional relationship developed, but Elvis, as he often did, extended his generosity beyond mere payment for services rendered. Sometime in the mid-1970s, Elvis decided to show his appreciation for Dr. Ganem in a typically grand Presley fashion. He didn't just send a thank you note or a standard gift. He bought him a car. This time, it wasn't a Cadillac, but a brand new Lincoln Continental, Mark IV. The Lincoln Continental Mark IV was a direct competitor to the Cadillac Eldorado. It was a massive personal luxury coupe, renowned for its long hood, short deck styling, hidden headlights, and distinctive opera windows in the rear roof pillars. Inside, it was pure 1970s luxury, with deeply cushioned seats, thick carpeting, simulated wood grain trim, and a host of power accessories. It was powered by a large V8 engine and provided a smooth, isolated ride. Owning a Mark IV was a definite status symbol, signaling success and taste. Elvis purchased one of these prestigious vehicles specifically for Dr. Ghanem. It was an unexpected gift, a token of appreciation that went far beyond the typical patient-doctor relationship. For Dr. Ghanem, who was likely well compensated for his medical services, the value wasn't just monetary. It was the gesture itself, the fact that Elvis Presley, one of the most famous people on the planet, had personally chosen and gifted him such a significant luxury item. Why a Lincoln instead of a Cadillac? Perhaps Elvis knew Dr. Ghanem admired Lincolns, or maybe he simply wanted to give something different. Elvis owned and appreciated various car brands, including Lincoln's himself. His famous hot screen 1962 Lincoln Continental limousine is a notable example. Gifting a Lincoln showed that his automotive appreciation and his generosity extended beyond his beloved Cadillacs. This gift highlights how Elvis often used vehicles to express gratitude or cement relationships. Whether it was a doctor, a police officer, a bank teller, or a random person at a dealership, a luxury car was Elvis's ultimate thank you card or spontaneous gesture of goodwill. Dr. Ghanem, though a professional associate, received this gift not necessarily for a single act, but for the ongoing care and relationship. Yet the manner of the gift itself, a surprise luxury car, mirrors the spontaneity shown towards complete strangers. The image of Elvis handing over the keys to a gleaming Lincoln Continental Mark IV serves as a powerful symbol of his larger-than-life generosity. It wasn't just about giving. It was about giving big, giving luxuriously, and often giving unexpectedly. This act, directed towards someone who helped him maintain his demanding career, toosed the breadth of his car-gifting habits, touching everyone, from the anonymous bystander to the professionals in his orbit, forever linking the legend of Elvis Presley with unparalleled automotive acts of kindness